Jesper Karlsson's fifth goal in 18 appearances for the Dons secured all 3 points for Aberdeen yesterday at Pittodrie as it's a come-from-behind victory. Kenan Bilalovic with his first goal for the club, with his third appearance as well. And that's what the headlines had to say this morning. I love that top headline, isn't that brilliant? Particularly after the Dons experimented with an alcohol licence, which I understand went down rather well. So, this is what it means. Hibs and Rangers play later today, which should be an interesting one. So it means that we've gone level on points with Hibs. We're staying 6th place, but that's how it stands. And don't forget, we also have a game in hand as well. So, significant result yesterday, significant win. Hello everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Monday night. So, what did you make of that yesterday? First half, atrocious. Second half, anyone else see that one coming? I have to be honest, I think it's slowly coming together. It's 7 now unbeaten in the league. And we're making significant strides up the table, moving in the right direction. But I just wish we could put in a 90-minute performance. That's all I would say at this juncture. I just wish we could put it over a longer period of time instead of just seeing it in fits and starts. But maybe we're going to have to come accustomed to that under the leadership of Jimmy Tillin. We've had it now for a number of months. And it's still not changed, has it? But it's an excellent 3 points. Stuart Kettlewell, he was the Kilmarnock manager, was sacked after that result yesterday. So today, unfortunately, Andrew Budge can't be with us. So what I've done is I've done my own research and I've gone a little bit deeper. And I'm going to bring you some stats a little bit later to show you how a number of our individual players performed over the piece. So I'm hoping that's going to make up for Andrew not being here. As always, get in touch, come and have your say, tell us how you're feeling, keep your comments, as always, respectful. Don't use bad language because I simply won't read them out. And thank you for continuing to be respectful on the channel. I just want to reiterate the point because there were some awful comments that came on my Facebook yesterday after I just posted a tongue-in-cheek comment about Celtic losing the cup final yesterday. One from a guy who used, how can I put this, bigoted language. Delete, block. You know, it just beggars belief that a person who supports a completely different football team feels the need to come on for what must be for him a random person's Facebook page and make such a horrific comment. So I just won't tolerate it. It's as simple as that. And I've banged the drum now for a number of years that I want this place to be an absolutely safe haven for fans to come to have their say. Thank you. It's really working that way, and it's a lot of people have noticed it as well. So thank you for your continued respect. It means a great deal to us. Right, so yesterday, the team. So the manager made a couple of changes. So Dante came in for Dylan and Kevin Nisbet came in for Marko Lazatic. So those were the 2 changes to the side. Here's your match stats over the piece. So 68.3% of possession. 21 shots in total, which was up from the Strasbourg game. 8 shots on target in total to Kilmarnock's 5. Touches inside the box, we enjoyed 30 touches to their 13. And our pass accuracy was also up against from Strasbourg, 86%. Now, just before we hear from the manager, a gentle reminder that Ali Beg ABTV is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. Not just that, they offer a number of services as well: torquing, testing, refurbishment and welding. Right, let's get the thoughts of the gaffer.
I think we are really happy for the win. Of course, it was an incredible good second half, and especially when I think about the first half. We were not good at all. We were totally disconnected. The energy level was low, and the body language and all these kind of things. Um, but we decided to give everybody a chance to show that we know how good they are, and to take the chance. They step out in the second half with a much more connected team, and we were back in winning situations. The quality went back in the how we play, and then again the subs like have been really important for us the last amount of game to come in and make an impact. Shinny come in with his energy and get this 50-50 to our favor. Kenan and Marco with the running capacity, and we're much more closer to each other, and the game just grow together with the fans, and it was a really good the chances we created in the second half, and of course when you win it, it was super nice.
Yeah, what was said at halftime? Because obviously Graham comes on, and as you mentioned, he has a fantastic impact, a huge influence from the bench. What was said to him coming on? The captain, and what was said to the players in the dressing room to improve in the second half from, as you say, what wasn't a great first half.
Sometimes when something went tactical strategy don't work, you can get sometimes hey you can get angry, but in this time it was more about look yourself in the mirror. Like we know we're much better than this. We were late in the duels, the quality of our passes, we don't show up, we were in the wrong positions. It was so many things that didn't work in the first half. So it was more about have this capacity to play game by game and bring the right mental focus when you go out on the pitch and talk about that. And we decided to give everybody one more chance to prove themselves, and then we make some changes how we want to be more compact, and we want the left footed on the left side to get some more cross. We don't create so much in the first half, and we want Topper to go more behind to get more space between, and it works really well. And the players pushing for a win, and I think we in the first half have 3 or 4 shots. We were in a really bad situation. Dimitar make an amazing save. We can stay in the game, and then I think we have 17 or something in the second half, and really good chances. I can't remember now, but I think Dante was close once, and Shinny once on the goal line. But also the goalkeeper make really good saves. So it was good that the player keep pushing, and of course. I think it was Kevin to Kenan. It was a really nice goal, and the energy they come in with. So it was nice to see, really nice to see, and how we grow together with our fans.
Yeah, he seemed particularly happy with the second half performance. So just before we open it up to you guys, let me just gently remind you at this juncture that Alibeg ABTV is also brought to you and supported by Craig International, a global procurement company, the very best at it as well. They have 10 offices strategically placed all over the world to serve your procurement needs. Their home base is in Aberdeen, but they're based on the European continent. They're also in the Middle East, in Qatar, in Oman, and they also have offices in Dubai. They also serve the Far East with offices in Singapore. And if you're down in Australia and you're looking for any sort of procurement services, then they're based down there in Perth as well. My thanks, as always, to everybody that sponsors me here on the channel. Right, let's open it up to you. Right, Gordon Keith Ritchie came on and said, good evening all, poor first half, better second. We got a win, keeps the run going in the league and climbing the league. Not the finished article yet, but we're getting there. Agreed. Cameron Young is here. Hello Ali, absolutely brilliant game yesterday after coming back to beat Kilmarnock. Absolutely loved my first game back at Pittodrie. On to Thursday against Sparta Prague. Who's that? Sersin. Nisbet providing the assist that I was screaming at all the others to provide him since kickoff. I've got an interesting stat about Kevin. Bring that to you in a moment. Came back to say it, another game where my understanding of when a penalty is or isn't given has actually got worse. It's all very strange, I have to say. It's all very odd, and as per normal, people who shouldn't be running football, who are running football, are ruining football. John Grant says, evening all, fantastic 3 points for us. We're climbing up the league nicely and close to third position. The league is far from over, either if the top two crumble. John came back to say, funny how people are saying Shinnie is done. Thought he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. We also looked very quick and threatening when we attacked with pace in the second half. I have to say, I thought the skipper when he came on yesterday was absolutely magnificent. His energy, his drive, his enthusiasm, I think, rubbed off on not just his teammates, but the fans as well. I thought he was fantastic. Graham Gibbs says, so poor in the first half. Had the Killie penalty stood, we were not coming back. Our penalty was so soft and maybe it cost Kettlewell his job. Colin Gale says, I was expecting a lacklustre performance after Thursday, but I was encouraged that we stepped up in the second half. Ashish is the man. Suze is here. How are we doing, Suze? Good to get the 3 points. Poor, flat first half. Different game when the skipper came on. Craig Moyer says Jimmy needs to have more faith in his attackers. Starting with 3 centre-halves at home to teams like Killie shouldn't be happening. Changes to 4-4-2 later in the second half. What a difference. Norman Baker said, how come we so often have one good half and one bad half? Exactly, Norman. Exactly what I said at the top of the show. Alexander Wallace is here. He said, a welcome 3 points given the mediocre first half. Need to keep this run going into the new year. Our wingers need to be more direct and we need 2 up front. So, don't forget, we've got 3 really difficult tests. I know it's a dead rubber against Sparta Prague, but I think it's important to, just lay a bit of a marker, go out of the competition, just laying a glove on Sparta Prague. Go out on a high. That's what I would say. Then Celtic on Sunday. And you just never know because Celtic are dreadful at the moment. So I really hope Yimmy goes into this game against Celtic with absolutely no fear whatsoever. Because Celtic are there for the taking. They really, really are. They're very sensitive at the moment. And then we've got Hibs. So 3 very, very important games coming up. Neil is here. He says, how is everybody? Poor first half, different team in the second half. Shinza fairly gets them going. Good 3 points in the end. Kirstine is here. How are we doing? She says, shocking first half, but Shinnie changed the game when he came on. Craig Moore came back to say Carlson and Bilalovic out wide with Lazetic and Nisbet up front. We look a lot more dangerous playing a 4-4-2. Would like us to start with that formation, especially at home to the lesser teams. It's a good shout in that. Scott Bowie says, we played like the over 65 walking football team first half. Second half, the substitutions actually worked. Nisbet so better suited as a 10 role than an out-and-out striker. Paul Hannon is here. Thanks for the videos, Paul. He says, good evening, everybody. I think Yimmy plugged in the players' batteries at halftime as they all looked switched off in the first half. David Horn says, good evening, fellow dandies. Poor first half, but second half better when they upped the pace of the game. Scott Bowie is saying, hopefully rest a few on Thursday, give the Bit Park players more game time, really need a 90-minute performance for Sunday, give Celtic another bloody nose, and also congratulations to St Mirren too. Yeah, here. Norman Baker says, I'll take it, but I thought our penalty was a bit harsh on Kilmarnock, but overall I thought 2-1 was a fair result. Sheep on Fire says, needed that lift from Shinnie. We lacked in the first half, but had already identified that Jensen had no support without Loban, and we were gaining momentum when Carlson moved over to support Jensen. Christopher Mainland said, Shinnie shows what he brings to the team when he came on in the second half. Elfidello is asking again, don't know why we can't play for the full 90 minutes. Yimmy got it right with the substitutions of the woeful Jensen at half-time. He should be nowhere near this team. It's really interesting about Alexander Jensen, isn't it? Because I would describe him as Marmite. Some really like him and some really don't. When I look at my social pages, yesterday when I was driving back from Munich, and I got home, finished watching the game, and then sort of trolled through the old socials. And I thought, boy, it really is. The opinion is so up and down about him, right across the board. I got to be honest, I don't really know what to make of him. I got to be honest. David Gold is here. Good evening, dandies. Awful first half. Subs made a difference, especially Shinnie. Bruce Struthers says, great second half performance and a great comeback. The Mad Ferret says, Bilalovic looks like a player. I hope he gets more of an opportunity now, I have to be honest. Right, so I'm going to show you something. So what I've done is I look closely at each individual player's stats during the time that they were on the pitch. And I've kind of put it all together for you. So this is what I've managed to come up with. So Kevin Nisbet had the least touches, 27, of any outfield player to play the 90 minutes. Stuart Armstrong created the most chances in the match, 7. Adil Ashish made 68 of 79 accurate passes, which is an 86% rate. Mats Knuster completed the most passes in the match, 71. And Jesper Karlsson completed 32 from 34 accurate passes, a 94% rate. Really, really interesting over the piece to see what the lads' individual stats are. Get back to your comments in just a moment, but just let me gently remind you that Quipco International also sponsor us here on ABTV, servicing the oil and gas industry based in Abu Dhabi. They offer a number of manufacturer and repair services. They manufacture products. They offer a number of services. If you need to know more about what they can offer, their website is there for you to see. Their telephone number is there as well, and feel free to email them as well. If you are in part of that world, and you are looking for products to be manufactured or serviced, Quipco do it better than anybody else. Right, let's get back to your comments. Paul came back to say, how good was Bilalovic? He looked the part against Dundee United early on in the season. Surprised he hasn't had a run up until now. David McLennan says, a proverbial game of two halves. We looked devoid of energy in the first half, and some broke out the Duracell batteries for the second half. Gary Farquhar said, a win's a win, but as you said, Ali, full 90 minutes would be nice. Imagine how good we would be if we could put in a full 90 minutes. By the way, how good was old Shindig? Sensational, mate. Sensational. Shindig. David Gall says, Bilalovic should be chapping on JT's door for more game time. Agreed. Bruce Struthers also says, great to see Bilalovic get on and both strikers on the park together. Mentioned for Shinza as well. His drive helped turn it around in the second half. Al Hay says, it's good to see Bilalovic getting on and scoring the equaliser. I was impressed with him when he came on as a sub earlier in the season. Can't understand why it's taking so long to see him again. That appears to be the general consensus tonight. Gavin Mill says, I thought Bilalovic was very good when he came on and done more in a short cameo than Milanovic has in all his appearances. David McLennan is suggesting we need to rest the starting 11 with the Celtic game in mind on Sunday. John Kylo says, Keskinen isn't a left-back wing-back. He's not even a regular left winger. Glad JT spotted that. At least Keskinen is a better fit at right wing-back. How do one govern 99, says Jensen offered hee-haw again. Another error from Keskinen to gift them the goal. Graham Gibb is asking, it was not working at all in the first half. Why nowadays do we have to wait until half-time to change things? Can't the players see what's happening and change it themselves? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure the players can do that. How do 1% govern 99% is suggesting that Aberdeen never really got going until the 80th minute. I take your point, fella, but I have to say, I thought we looked okay from the beginning of the first half. From the start of the second half. Gary Farquhar says, young Loban and Bilalovic on the right-hand side look a tasty option, but say every week, would like to see Kevin and Marco up together. Kevin was a different player when there was two up front. Joseph Marceau says, we can't play for 90 minutes. It's embarrassing. Kirsten is asking me to fix the screen. What screen? I don't understand. Joseph Marshall. Now, I don't know, fella. Oh, I'm stuck on Quipco there. That's why. Terribly sorry. There you go. Massive plug for Quipco tonight, says David. Sorry. Right, let me come back to Joseph Marshall. Mate, I'm not really getting what you're saying here. First and foremost, who's a one-trick pony? And you're also suggesting that you still think Yimmy needs to go. I'm not sure what to make of that fella, I've got to be honest. Christopher Bray suggesting that Nisbet's so hot and cold. Kirsten says Nisbet is a penalty box striker and doesn't quite suit JT's system, but he's still a good player. Christopher Bray said, sometimes I wonder what planet the manager is on with his selections. Graham Gibbs says, it's unfair to blame Nisbet yesterday on the first half. Ball just kept going sideways and backwards, followed by a long punt forwards. Messi would struggle with that service. Again, Joseph, I'm quite baffled by your comments here. He says, we have not laid a glove on anyone this season other than Dundee. Okay. Andrew HD1 says, Nisbet was like a different player with someone alongside him. Why couldn't any of the first half players find it within themselves to rise up and get going? Shinnie dragged the team up so well. Interesting. How do 1% govern 99% suggests that Celtic are similar to us, missing Scottish grit and determination. Again, I'm not overly sure. The grit, yeah, take your point, but the determination. I think there was plenty of determination to win that game yesterday, I've got to be honest. But I definitely take your point on grit, most definitely. Philip Palmer says, Nisbet needs more service in the last 18 yards, not running from the halfway line. Kevin up front, Marco would do the donkey work and let defenders worry about his movement and let Kevin do exactly what he's done the last 15 minutes of the game yesterday. Right, guys, we are coming towards the end of the show. So, just let me gently remind you that there is a special evening with Johnny Hayes, Adam Rudy, and Niall McGinn at the Douglas Hotel in Aberdeen in February, the 20th of February. I'm delighted to say that I'm going to be hosting it. It's in support of the Beats and Chance of Character. And if you are kicking about, it would be absolutely brilliant to see you. If you've been to the longest 40 gigs before, you know what fun they really are. Right, guys, as we're coming towards the end of the show, don't forget to give the show a wee like. Thank you for all your comments tonight. It's been really good fun and interesting reading them out. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, don't forget, give us a wee thumbs up to subscribe. We did well over the weekend. We surpassed 4,800, which was absolutely fantastic. So obviously the next milestone is to get to 4,900. And I would like to do that quite sharpish, if I'm being honest. So if you've enjoyed tonight's show, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you would please consider subscribing to the channel. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Just let me double check there's not any last minute comments that have come in. Yeah, okay. We'll call it a night. Guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you again on Wednesday for a preview show ahead of the game against Sparta Prague. Take good care of yourselves. Thanks ever so much for being with us. Stand free.